Before we get started with this episode, I wanted to share with you that earlier this year, we started doing more of our podcasts as video podcasts. All of our audio and video episodes are available on our YouTube page. We'd love it if you'd check it out. And please, while you're there, be sure to subscribe to our channel. This way you get notified of new videos and new episodes that are posted. You can also find all of our videos on our website at MokenasFrontPorch.com or by searching Mokena's Front Porch on YouTube. Matt and I hope you enjoy this episode, and please be sure to share our podcast with a friend. I'm out here again at Clancy Bros. Tonight is the third of the candidate meet and greets for the Mokena's Future Slate. So you can see here we are at Clancy's. Let's hear what they have to say and see who came out tonight to hear from these candidates.
Okay, thank you all for coming out tonight. We appreciate it in the crummy weather, and it means a lot to all of us that you took the time to come out here tonight, and you want to know where we're going to try to take the village of Mokena. And one of the trustees is Dick Clancy, the other trustee is Jim Roberts, and Kim Yulesman couldn't make it tonight because she's got parent teachers on, and that she can't skip.
Yeah.
But we were just sitting down yesterday, all of us. We got big plans for Mokena, but I can't do anything unless these trustees get in. This is the best group of people I've ever run with. This is my 10th campaign. And I get sick of people, I'm hearing from some people that, oh, you've been doing this for so many years. Fine. I've been doing a good job for so many years. There's absolutely no reason to change it right now and bring someone in who's untested. Even though he's taking credit for everything we do in Mokena, that's fine. I'm not. I can't do anything without my staff, but I really can't do anything without the board because I don't vote. I put the agenda together for all of our meetings. I talk to different people. I talk to businesses about coming into Mokena, but I don't vote. So my opponent likes to try to blame me for everything that goes on. But I've tried to do things. You saw all the information in front of you. I've been trying to put it downtown together for years, but they have to vote. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hand it to Nick next and let you go.
Awesome. Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, just to echo what the mayor had to say about you guys being here tonight. Thank you. It's a rainy Tuesday night. You know, I'm sure a lot of us would rather be in our homes, you know, kicking it up, watching TV. But thank you for coming out and being here. It shows that you actually care about what's happening in your town. So thank you for that. I just want to talk a little bit about just who I am and what kind of motivates me to run and what is special about Mokena. And that's kind of a major influence for why I'm up here today. I'll tell a quick story. About 3 years ago, me and my brother, we came into Mokena looking for a home for Clancy Brothers Coffee Roasters. And we looked down Front Street here in downtown Mokena, and my brother Chris said, all right, we can cross Mokena off the list. I said, gee, that was kind of quick, you know. So we kind of just moved on. But my sister, who has lived in Mokena for 14 years, called me back and says, you have to see this bank building on the corner of Wolf and LaPorte. Did you not see this beautiful brick building on the corner of Wolf and LaPorte? And I said, no, I didn't. We just left because the downtown was kind of sad. And so we came back and we looked in this building, and I caught this feeling. You know, people say don't make decisions on feelings, but I had a feeling. I said, there's something happening here in Mokena that I want to be a part of. And so opening a business is a leap of faith, no matter where you decide to open up your business. But I just knew that we wanted to be on the cusp of what's going to happen here in Mokena. And that primarily is with the businesses that we hope to attract here in this amazing town. And we have some big plans for downtown. And so I want to tell another quick story just to kind of give you an idea of like what that plan will entail for the downtown. I was sitting with a friend over coffee, of all things, the other day, and he's in his late 20s, and he's planning to build a family, right? He just got married. And so he sat down with his wife and he said, okay, we got 2 kids and we want to shoot for 5. So that means we have to have 3 more. So we live in this tiny little duplex. So we need to start planning for how we're going to be able to handle this population growth. And so we're going to have to get that minivan. We're going to have to get a bigger house. We're going to have to maybe start working some more hours. You might have to get a second job, right? So all that to say, when you decide to sit down and grow a family, you plan for it. You sit down and you figure out what you're going to have to do in order to be able to handle that kind of growth. And so what we plan to do before we even think about growing the population, developing the downtown, is to actually sit down and put a comprehensive plan together. And that's exactly what we've done. We put a plan together to say, okay, we're going to build this beautiful town, this beautiful downtown. It's going to attract residents from all over these surrounding towns that come into Mokena. The population's going to go up. Can we handle that? Do we have the framework to accommodate that kind of growth? And so it's been brought to my attention that things like traffic studies are unnecessary here in Mokena, but that traffic study is actually part of that greater plan to sit down and figure out how are we going to handle an influx of people coming to tour our great town from Tinley and Orland and New Lenox and Homer Glen and all these awesome towns around us. We have to sit down and be able to know that our roads can handle it and that we're set up for success. And so that's kind of where my mind goes for growing this town, is just the downtown and making sure that we're doing things in an orderly manner. And I'm just really excited to not only bring leadership to the table, but to be under great leadership. Our mayor has been an amazing leader, and he's shared his vision with me enough so that I'm going to run for trustee. If you would have asked me I'm going to run for trustee 6 months ago, I would have told you no. But because of the leadership and the vision that he has and getting to know Jim, and we have a great team here. And so if you believe in the vision that we have, I'd say vote for us. Just go ahead and speak through your vote, and we'll get to work. So thank you.
Last. I'm Jim Roberts. I've lived in the village since 1990. I moved in with my wife, Peggy, over here, and my 3 daughters. At the time, my youngest one was 3 days old. So they've grown up here. They're all married with 9 grandkids now. So life in Mokena has been great. Love it here. Finished my career, retired in 2019. So just to tell you quickly how I got up here, Frank and I had been talking about internet services in the village and how expensive they've gotten, and that I consider it a utility nowadays, just like we used to think about a phone in a house. Kids were learning at home and all that, and they needed the internet. So it's pretty expensive. So how are we going to do that? So I talked to him about classifying as a utility, doing a study, whatever it would take. Maybe we could get grant money to figure out how to build an infrastructure for internet for the people of Mokena. And so we had a few conversations, and out of nowhere, Frank calls and says, "Hey, I got an opening on the board." And I was like, "Wow, that's something money not to run." So anyway, so I agreed to do it. And on November 11th, I was sworn in as a trustee. So I've been on the board about 4 months. And, then he talked me into this running also, this on top of it. But being on the board for 4 months, I tell you what, it's an eye-opening. People that are in the village that aren't engaged have no idea what's going on in the village. There's stuff being built all over the village. Every corner of the village has got something going on. And we got opponents that say nothing's going on. We need new leadership. And I can tell you, I've had, Frank, how many hours have you and I talked? Probably in the hundreds by now,
Well, just
right?
yesterday,
Over a few months.
myself and Nick
Yeah.
came in.
Yeah.
sat down
Yesterday
and
we were here
talked,
for 2 hours.
And the ideas that we came up with were unbelievable.
Right. And the thing about Nick is, I didn't know Nick, and we started talking and found out that Nick thinks the same way we do. I'm like twice his age, probably over twice his age, but here's this guy, he thinks just like we do. So all this made me want to run again.
Yeah.
So I decided to run again. And as Nick was talking about traffic studies and other stuff you have to do in the village. In order to get grant money, you have to do these studies.
Yeah.
And these studies take a long time. And sometimes it seems like nothing's getting accomplished. But, you can do a study and it might take a year to get a study back, maybe longer. And it seems like for a year, you've just been sitting on your hands with no progress. But ultimately, if you look at, 191st last year, they resurfaced it. That was done with grant money. There's studies done, we get grant money and we do it. Right now, we're getting ready to do this summer. We're going to be doing LaPorte Road over here. It's the same thing. You do a study and you get grant money. Because without the grant money, we would have to tax at much higher rates than we do to get the infrastructure done all the time. So over the last couple of years, we've redone the wastewater treatment plant. Nobody's taxes went up. We built a new police department. Nobody's taxes went up. All was saved, all has been paid for. The village is, when I say, what am I running, what can I improve? I tell you what, the physical responsibility in this village is absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Has one of the lowest tax rates of anybody around, and everything that goes on in that village, the first thing is considered is the residents and the burden that we would put on them. And we have to find ways to pay for stuff without burdening our community. And that's my philosophy. That's Frank's philosophy, Nick's philosophy. Everyone here can say our tax bills are too high. Our property taxes are too high. And as a village, we're aware of that. We're aware of that. And we know that we cannot raise taxes. We have to find a way to be physically responsible to get the infrastructure in the village that's needed.
Yeah.
Our number one revenue source in the village is sales tax, and we are constantly aware of that and constantly knowing that we need more businesses in the village and the right kind of businesses in the village. Front Street, when I moved in 1990, they were talking about Front Street. We've got to do all this stuff on Front Street. It's going to be gorgeous. 35 years later, we've done nothing. I mean, I shouldn't say we've done nothing. There's new buildings, there's stuff, but not to the pace that you would think in 35 years, And as I've told Frank and them, sitting on the board and being part of the governance of Mokena, it's our job to make downtown accessible for the public. Whether they're driving there, they want to ride a bike there, they want to jog there, however they want to get down there, to make it easy for them and their family to go downtown. Myself, I prefer to see them walk or ride. So I'm into more bike paths and trails at Yonkers to get us into downtown.
Yeah.
Ways people can access downtown as a family easy. And so part of my thought of downtown is opening up the access points, making it easier to get in and out of Mokena, downtown Mokena, and hopefully then run some fairs with businesses that we would like to come to see, come to downtown Mokena and court them as a group. And that's how I envision our downtown eventually getting done. We have a TIF area. If you're not familiar with TIFs, the downtown area is a TIF area. I'm not personally fond of TIFs, but when you have an area that's as distressed as a lot of those buildings, we're just not going to find that investors come in and overhaul that stuff. So the TIF is a good way to subsidize that and get people that are interested in coming down. And, in the next 4 years, if I'm elected and Nick's elected and Frank, that's kind of like what one of our guidance is going to be. So, and I think that's pretty much where our visions are.
Just to give you an idea, and remember when you came to that board meeting?
Yeah. Yeah.
Remember what you said to me afterwards about the downtown?
Mm-hmm.
About the board?
Yeah, you want me to talk about that?
Please, I think it's important that the people know where we're at.
So when we decided that we were going to give Mokena a second shot, a second look, I said, I'm going to go to a board meeting. I'm just going to, covertly just go. I actually sat right next to Jimmy Schlegel. I don't know if you remember. That was the first time I met Jim. And I heard the mayor talk about having a viable downtown, because that's what we plan to do. We plan to make Mokena have a viable downtown because the people here deserve it. I got up, I walked out, called my brother. I said, we're going to come to Mokena. So that's all I needed to hear, is to have a leader who believes in businesses and small businesses and buying local and making the path just a little bit easier for people who have dreams and passions about opening up a business, and to know that they have a village that's behind them is going to be a wind behind them to give them some momentum, because you need some serious momentum when you open up a business for the first time. And to know that we not only have received that, but we have a mayor who believes in cultivating that and fostering those kind of relationships moving forward. So I'm really excited, you guys. So I can't wait to see what happens here in April. But more than anything, I just want to get to work. I want to see who we're going to be working with. And I think that's super important. Whoever ends up in these spots is only going to be as successful as their ability to collaborate and work with the people that they're in it with. And so I'm really excited about that. And yeah, thank you.
Good. I'm glad you brought that up, because now it's election time, so everybody wants it downtown.
Yeah.
Everybody wants it downtown. But the person I'm running against said we'll never have a downtown. We'll never have a downtown. Let the developers come in and decide what they're going to build. Can you imagine that? Let the developers come in and decide what they're going to build in our town, and we won't have a plan. No, I don't think he's a bad guy. I just don't think he understands how to run a village. And we don't need that. We're bringing Mokena into the 20th century, 21st century. Let's not go backwards into 1990. And I'm telling you, that's where they'll bring us, because they have no idea what it takes to move forward in this town. In the short time I worked with Jim, Nick, and Kim, they understand it right off the bat. They know exactly what we're talking about. They're on the same page. And they've never done this before. So it's not brain surgery, it's just common sense. And if you haven't helped me out to this point, you're never going to help me out. That's why I need, in order to get the job done, I need the three people I'm running with. And I promise you, you will get a downtown. You will get around downtown. It will get started and we'll move forward on it. And it's going to be a good downtown. Just think about it. How many communities would love to have their downtown next to Mr. Younker's farm, next to a forest preserve? Can you imagine that? I mean, the setup we have here, we should have started this a long, long time ago. What the heck were they waiting for? I'll tell you, they can't make a decision to save their life. That's what they're not bad people. They just can't make decisions. That's all. It's because we need to move forward. We can't sit here. The people in this town, when I did a poll, I did 2 polls. 4 years ago, I took a poll. 70% of the people wanted a viable downtown. I took a poll 4 years later. 70% of the people want a viable downtown. I don't know where these people got their information or who they were talking to, but they've been 100% wrong for all these years. It's time to get that town for your residents. You pay enough in taxes. We've got to give back something. We've got to give this back something. Someplace to go, someplace to bring your kids to, someplace that you want to ride your bikes to and run into one of your friends there with their family. That's what we need here. We've got to get you a downtown. And I promise we'll do that. I might not see the end of it, but I'm going to get it started. I promise you that. Nick will see the end of it.
Yeah. You know, when we first moved in, my daughters, they used to come up to us and they go, Dad got a quarter, da-da-da. And what would they used to say?
Uptown.
They want to walk uptown with their friends, you know. So uptown, and this is in 1990, 91, you know.
Yeah.
We thought uptown there was like a pharmacy and a little store with some candy or whatever. And that was their thing. And I would love to have places like that where kids today would say, I want to go uptown, you know, get an ice cream or get a candy bar or whatever, you know. But I'm not even sure if you get a candy bar on Front Street today. You know, maybe you can, I'm not sure where. But is there a place?
I don't know.
When Laurie and I moved out here 48 years ago, there was actually more business downtown than there is now. We bought ski jackets from a place downtown. And there was other things going on down there. You know, people have got to understand. To open up a business now, especially a restaurant, you're paying $750,000 to outfit that restaurant. If you don't feel like the board is really wants you there, you're not going to invest that money. We've got to let people know that we're serious about the downtown, just like Frankfurt did. That's the way they did it. The board made a commitment. Everybody knew there was a commitment there, and Frankfurt's downtown grew. That's what's going to happen to Mokena. We get up there and let people know that we're behind them. We try to give them some forms of incentive to get started, and they know that the board is behind them. You'll get it downtown. I promise you'll get it downtown.
Yeah, we've had conversations. You know, if we're fortunate to be elected, we're going to put an agenda together on the front side. Frank's going to present it at the meeting and to our administrators, which I want to add our administrators in the village if you don't know them. These are some of the most fantastic people I've known in my life. I have never been around so many people that only know how to smile. You walk in there, I'm not kidding you, whether it's John, our administrator, our attorney, the clerks working behind the counter there, they have absolutely phenomenal personalities. I tell you what, I wish whoever hired all those people, I wish I'd have had them back in the day hiring people to work for me. They are class.
Well, you know what somebody told me, Jim? One thing I've learned over the years, if you're in any position, being like me being the mayor, you get a good number one, and he makes you look awful good. And that's what I did. I got somebody that knew what he was doing, and I just stood back and watched him do his job. And he hired people, he brought people on, and like Jim says, please, this is not a slam at any past staff, but this is the best staff that we've ever had, Mokena. These people are good.
These are really unbelievable people. And coming on the board at the time I did in November, towards the end of a 4-year term, I didn't really know. Obviously, I wasn't engaged. I didn't know what was going on in the village. And all of a sudden, I'm sitting on the board and they're wanting me to vote on stuff, you know. But I got John, I got Carl, the attorney. They're calling me and they're walking me through the history of the projects that are coming in front of the board. So, you know, and I'm not maybe the brightest guy in the world, but I caught on pretty quickly what they were talking about. They were calling me every week on Friday and talking about next week's agenda. I made sure I read it inside and out a couple times, used the yellow highlighter, because I knew I was going to get a call. And they gave me the backstop to all of the stuff going on that I was going to see every week to make sure I was totally informed. Because I felt to sit up there and just say, well, I don't know enough about that to vote. I thought that was kind of a cop-out. So these guys, they were amazing, absolutely amazing, bringing me up to date into what's going on in the village. And let me tell you, there's so much going on in the village. I mean, it's very active between the executive sessions, the workshop sessions, and the other things going on. There's developers, there's people there almost every week talking about what they want to do in the village as far as development. So we're not dying here, we're growing. Unfortunately, some of the areas we're not growing quick enough is what people notice the most, and that's downtown. You know, they drive by that and they stop there and they go, well, it's the same old place it was 35 years ago. And, you know, it's improved over the years, but we got a ways to go there. And, so, and I tell you, Frank's been, you know, in governance of some level for a long time, but, he's got a good handle on what goes on. It's his agenda that's getting passed. He creates the agenda. I don't do it. Nobody else does it. And so the things that happen in the village happen, and they go through him. Because I had some things on my agenda when they put me on the board, and I quickly found out through the administrators that anything I want done on my agenda, I got to go to this guy first. So that's how I learned right away that what's going on in the village is because Frank's is putting it out there. And he's setting the agenda. And he doesn't take credit for stuff he does, but he just stays steady and just does it. And that's the way I like.
Take a few questions.
Yeah, I think it's time.
Yeah. Jim.
Jim Slate. I hope this will be bipartisan, all right? My goal is I think I want to see 52% of the registered voters come out to vote. And I think this is going to be the best election that I think we've ever had in, and Ed, I always refer to Ed, but every candidate has the qualification I think is the highest. I would not mind having it for my neighbor. We haven't said that in the past. We wouldn't want them for a neighbor. We may disagree with them. But I think everybody running would make a great neighbor. Not a great whatever. The other issue is that there's been money spent on this with signs, with meetings like this. Mokena has never been more engaged in this, okay? And I think that the issue is no matter what side of the fence you are, 80% is for change, okay? The difference is the 20% how to get to the change. That's where the difference, okay?
Yeah.
However, there's going to be, like I say, I went 52%. Because there's going to be another person on that ballot that's going to have to be. And normally in elections like this, in election years, we only get 15 to 17% of the registered voters that come out. I think it's going to be a close race. I think if we have a 17% turnout, one side wins by 10, one wins by 7. We can't have change unless we have people who we can lead.
Is there a question in there, Jimmy?
What I'm just saying
Is there
we need to get everybody out to vote.
Understood. But is there a question in there, Jimmy?
Well, the question, all I'm saying is we need to get everybody out to vote.
I don't think anybody in there.
Absolutely.
Jimmy, I've been saying that for 10 elections, or for 10 things.
I'm just saying.
Getting the people out, and you're right. I don't know how to get them out. You can't go to their house and pull them out by their ear.
I mean, I'll try, I don't care how we get vote for, I'll do whatever I can, but come out and vote.
Do the best you can, Jim. That's all you can do. Does anybody else have a question?
Sure.
I know Mr. Clancy touched on this, but I realize that you guys are on my slate. However, not everyone needs to vote for the entire slate. If some are elected, others are not, how do you plan to handle those difficult conversations? Particularly during board meetings. And how do we move forward when we are still at an impasse?
I've been doing it for 12 years.
It's a great question.
I've been doing it for 12 years with a board that was very hard to work with. So you learn how to do it. You learn how to get something done. We're not really a slate, okay? We're a pack. We're a group of people that feel that we could do a good job. The Mokena's future is not a slate, but we're running together because we have, we have respect for each other. So we will not be grouped together on the ballot. So we're going to have Sue and you, Jim, on the bottom for the 4-year terms. You're going to be the second one on the 2-year term, and I'll be the second one in the mayor's position. But that's all you can do. You get up there and you do the best you can.
Yeah. I think if I could say something, just having business partners of my own, we don't always see eye to eye. And I think what has made that easier for us is shared vision. Is before you enter into a new endeavor, you have to have a true north. You have to have something that everyone agrees on, like that's essential. And if you can agree on that vision, then when there's disagreements, we can kind of say, if we go this route, is that going to move the needle towards where we want to get to? If we go this route, is that going to move? And if the answer is no, but somebody says, no, I think it should be yes, then we just need to talk that out and make a decision based on if that's going to bring us to the vision that we've all agreed upon we want to see actualized. So it's not a perfect system, but it's a way for us to at least say, hey, this is going to be collaborative. We want it to be collaborative. There are going to be disagreements. We're not going to see eye to eye on everything. But if we can't come to an agreement through conversations and humility, then we vote. And that's how we get it done. When we can't get it done through conversation, we vote. And that's a great question.
Yeah, to add to that, just for, if by chance we end up with split tickets, which is possible, who knows what the heck's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's still going to be up to the trustees to go to whoever would be elected mayor, or the mayor who got elected to go to who maybe wasn't on his ticket, to go out and reach out to them, see what their agendas are, how they can work the agenda together. Because at the end of the day, if whoever's elected mayor doesn't bring a solid agenda to the board, then we're talking about status quo for 4 more years. There has to be an agenda, has to start on day one about what the trustees that are elected and the mayor that's elected, what direction they want to go and what they want to accomplish. Because 4 years is not a lot of time. You start talking about things. If you're not locked into, well, I want to do a traffic study, I want to do this kind of study. If you're not locked into doing those things pretty quickly, then a lot of things that we talk about can't happen. They won't happen.
Yeah.
Because they can only then happen is if we raised your taxes to pay for it ourselves.
And we talked here the other day, and Jim and Nick are right on. We need a traffic study to get it started to fill in everything else. How's that traffic on Wolf Road and LaGrange Road doing for you? And it's going to get nothing but worse unless we have a traffic study that shows us how to move traffic. And again, I'm sorry, I hate to sound like a broken record, but I've been trying to get that traffic study for 12 years. And I can't get that traffic study done. And that's something that is needed. That traffic study should be first, so we know how to fit the comp plan in. And then the downtown. So that's extremely important, and I'm getting sick over the years of taking the blame for something that I can't get the board to do. It's just that simple. I know the buck stops here, but I can only do so much. I bring it up, as an agenda item. They have to sit there and vote on it. I'm stuck if they don't give me the yes vote. And that's got to stop. This has got to be it. I'm telling you, this has got to be it, because Mokena is at a crossroads. And I'll tell you what, the people we're running against will take us backwards. I guarantee that. We are not going to go forward anymore. If the 4 of us lose this election, Mokena is going to be in trouble. And I'm not being dramatic, I'm being truthful. It's just that simple, folks.
I just want to thank everybody real quick for coming out tonight. I didn't get a chance to talk to all of you, but I appreciate everyone that's here. And it's kind of a cold, rainy night, but we're going to pick our best friends up from the airport here. And I don't know how long they'll want to wait for me, but but I hate to run out on you without thanking everyone for being here. And
2 weeks from now.
Yeah, probably. Okay.
so what I
Yeah.
want
Hold on
to
a
say,
second, Dave. Hold on.